Have you ever really stopped to think about the weight of our words? I'm not talking about a quick, heated argument. I mean the words that stick, the ones that bury themselves deep inside and kind of shape who we grow up to be. Today, we're going to look at some of those phrases that parents sometimes use, phrases that can leave scars way, way after childhood is over. And this just says it all, doesn't it? I mean, physical bruises heal. You can see them, you put a bandage on them, and they fade. But the emotional stuff, that's invisible. And it can echo in your head for a lifetime. Right. And it's super important to say this isn't about blaming parents or calling them bad people. A lot of the time, these things are said out of frustration, or maybe it's just how they were raised. But the thing is, good intentions don't erase the impact. So let's dive into 8 of these phrases and really understand why they hurt so much. Okay, first up, we've got number 1. This is that classic comparison trap that so many people fall into, but it almost never works the way they think it will. Whether it's about a brother or a sister, a cousin, the neighbor's kid, this question doesn't inspire a child. It just teaches them one really painful lesson. You, as you are not enough. It doesn't build motivation, it just breeds resentment and this deep feeling of being second best. All right, let's move on to number 2. This one is all about using these really damaging absolute words to describe a kid's actions. Just try to imagine being a little kid. You're just figuring out how the world works, and you keep hearing this. Always. Everything. It's just crushing. So what do you think happens? Well, you stop trying. I mean, if you believe you're just going to fail anyway, what's the point of even starting? So our third phrase kind of shifts gears. It moves away from criticizing what a child does to just straight up invalidating how they feel. You see the total disconnect here, right? To a grown-up, yeah, a broken toy isn't a huge problem. But to that child, in that moment, it might feel like their whole world is ending. When you tell them to just stop crying, you're not teaching them to be strong. You're teaching them that their feelings are invalid and should be hidden away. Number 4. This one is tricky because it subtly teaches a kid that love isn't something you just get, it's something you have to earn. You hear that? That's not a statement of love. It's an invoice. It turns the whole relationship into a transaction, and it saddles the child with this enormous debt they can never, ever repay. It makes them feel guilty, not for something they did, but just for existing. And at number 5, we have one that sounds like a final judgment, like a life sentence handed down when a child's story is just beginning. Wow. I mean, there are very few things you can say that are more destructive to a kid's spirit than this. It's like a prophecy of failure, and it's coming from the most important person in their world. It just demolishes their sense of potential, their dreams, their self-worth. And that's why this is so unbelievably devastating. It's not a phrase that just vanishes when you turn 18. Nope. It becomes that little voice of doubt in your head, that inner critic that can sabotage your success and your happiness for years, even decades. Okay, for number 6, we have a phrase that isn't a direct insult, but it's just as harmful to a child's growing mind. Because I said so. The ultimate conversation killer. Now, the parent's intent is usually pretty simple. Just end the argument. But the lesson the child learns is huge. Don't ask questions. Don't be curious. Just be quiet. It basically shuts down critical thinking before it even has a chance to develop. Number 7 is a personal one. It's an attack on a child's core personality. What this teaches a kid is that their natural emotional reaction to the world is a flaw. It's shameful. So what happens later in life? These kids often grow into adults who really struggle to express themselves because they've been taught to see their own sensitivity as a weakness that needs to be buried. And finally, that brings us to number 8. Now, this one might sound a little softer than the others, but believe me, its impact is just as deep. Look, discipline is one thing, but there's a huge difference between being disappointed in an action, something someone did, and being disappointed in you, the person. When a child hears this over and over, the message they get is you as a human being are a disappointment. And that can create this bottomless, lifelong need for approval that they feel like they can never, ever get. So as we wrap this up, let's go back to the beginning. This is rarely about a parent wanting to cause pain. It's usually about not being aware of the incredible, lasting power that words have, especially when they're spoken to a child who believes every single word is the absolute truth. And this just hammers the point home, doesn't it? One sentence. Just one careless phrase, maybe said in a moment of total exhaustion or anger, can become a core memory. It can become a piece of mental code that runs in the background for the rest of a person's life. So that really leaves us with a question to sit with, right? Whether you're a parent or friend or just a person out in the world, we all leave a mark with the words we use. What will yours be?